the beauty of this reptile community is that it is a community, and it's a collection of individuals. And the last thing I wanted to do is for my company to be known as a company and not just me as a guy, right? Or my employees as people. And like I mentioned to you earlier, like the amount of like negative comments and everything has shot up on social media since the name change, because it is more like just a corporate face thing, you know. I didn't want that. At the same time, there was all these other factors, and so it's just something to do.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's as much as like this is a decision that you're making because it's your brand, like you do have other people that are chirping in, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah, big time.
And you know, you do have people who like probably are comfortable enough to you to probably come to you and be like, hey, like, good move, or like, what the fuck, you know? So did you have some of that, like both the mixed ends of people telling you?
My
like,
friends were all really supportive. People, you know, I know were all really supportive, and I asked tons of people's opinions.
What about your wife? How about that? I mean, I appreciate everyone else, but the wife, I mean,
she probably gave me the hardest time.
Respect. I mean, as she should.
Yeah, I mean, because she saw me build this over so many years, and she takes a lot of pride in the, you know, what it's become for me. I think not for herself, but she would have just chose not to do it. I think, you know, and I've had long talks with her about it. Most of the criticism comes from people I have no idea who they are. Right.
Of course, and, it's kind of always the case.
Right.
Or it's a ghost account, or maybe it is somebody you know, but you don't know.
Right. Oh, exactly.
Plenty of those out there. Exactly. I know that for sure.
But the reality is, and this is what I keep coming back to, is if my name was Canova for the last 20 years, no one would suggest I change it to Kabelka. No one.
Right.
So that tells you everything you need to know right there.
100%.
And the other part is that the more negative comments I get and positive comments, that just means people care. The last thing you want to do is change your name, and everybody's like, okay, I don't care who you are, you know, it doesn't matter, right? And so that to me, like it's all positive in that sense. People care. People get up in arms. They have emotional feelings about my business name. That means a lot to me. I appreciate that.
I mean, you gotta understand too, like, hey, it's such a, like, you know, a couple sayings I hate is like, it is what it is. Cause I mean, sometimes they fucking, what are you going to do? It is what it is, you know, but haters make you famous, even though it sounds like, is that what you want? But really at the end of the day, the ones who are talking the most about you, out of your control, like, I mean, it's out of your control. You can't help it. People are going to talk about you, but if they're talking about you, that means you're doing something. Like that means you are moving and you're doing things that people either wish they could start doing. People wish they probably had the brain power to do. I'm not going to single anybody out, but I guarantee there's some self-name branded breeders out there who are like, holy fuck, maybe I could have done that. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing some brand changes here in the next year or so.
Maybe so.
I'm fucking mark my words on that shit. And that's just going to be kudos to you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, because think about it. It's more than just you as far as breeders go, to where it's their name Reptiles or their name Exotics, right? And it's blown up bigger than they ever expected.
Right.
I'm talking about, dude, fucking mad money in this game. And it is what it is. People that don't like to talk about it are either not seeing it or they just don't want other people to get their hands in it. It's plain and simple. They're just, I don't know what it is, but it's blatantly out there. Shit, you know what's funny is, I mean, it's not funny, it's unfortunate, but the Ben Renick, like the trial going on right now.
Yeah, I've been absorbing it like crazy.
But just hearing like these like non-snake people like Court TV talk about our hobby as like a bougie boutique hobby, designer hobby, and they're like, there's so much money in this game, and like it's out there, like the public fucking sees it. You know what I mean? But
I know.
And you know, to shed a light on that, I mean, they convicted fucking, you know.
I know, but only second degree and only 13. What was it? Say 13 to 16 years. They were saying today, and that's just, to me, it doesn't feel like enough. I mean,
I feel like it could have got way.
I mean, it could have been worse. Life.
I
don't know. I just don't think it's right for her to walk away after her. He can never do anything again, and in 10 years, she'll be my age, probably ish.
Yeah,
she'll be free for the rest of her life theoretically. That kills me inside.
I'm just a huge, passionate believer in karma, and like you know, at the end of the day, if she's out, she has freedom.
Well, based on the choices she's made in her life,
it's
up till now,
right?
She's gonna have a crappy life no matter what.
100%.
You know, but still, she doesn't deserve her freedom. She doesn't. And Ben was a great guy,
and that's what I want to talk about because I mean, you're somebody who was around during Ben Renick's legacy, so you know what was happening with that guy with his snakes, you know, just as anyone else who was around that time. So, from what you remember as far as what Ben had going on, can you kind of just enlighten us a little bit of his memory of what he was doing?
I wasn't his best friend, but I did get to see him a lot of different shows, and you know, we had many multi-hour conversations and texting, and I sent him animals and he sent me animals, And what a genuine person. I think that's the biggest thing, is that he was exactly the way he was, and he's also the guy at snake shows that would like single a kid out and be like, hey, you want to hold the most expensive snake in my case here? What I'm saying? He was
creating
not
memories like that.
He was the kind of person who was not at all stuck up. He had no ego, and just a really genuine person. And he always wanted to help. He always wanted to be a part of the community. And that's just when I heard he got murdered, I was like, what's anybody I could have guessed that would have got themselves mixed up in something? It wouldn't have been him.
It just didn't make sense because, like you said,
Right.
I mean, I never met him, but I knew how, like, I could just tell like how genuinely nice the guy is.
Yeah.
I mean, and only that, like, I knew of him through Forrest, through Dave Levison. Like, there's big time people who were close to this guy,
Yeah.
and they knew him better than anything else, and these aren't people who just talk highly of anyone either, so
Right.
it's super unfortunate. But as far as his name never dying out, which will never die out, Ben
Right.
Renick will always forever live in this game because, I mean, no disrespect to you, but he would be right there with you, I feel like, if he was around.
Oh, yeah. No,
But
he was
all
doing great stuff. Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this: back in that time frame, like, let's say, because when Ben Renick was really making things move with the projects, this was like pre-social media, right? Like 2015-ish or
Before
20.
it is what it is now, that's for sure. Yeah.
For sure, before
Yeah.
the big glow up, which
Right.
what it is now, right?
Yeah.
But to kind of I want to know exactly back pre-social media glow where it is now. What were your biggest projects that you were banking on then, like, or something that
Yeah.
was very important to you then?
So Ben, actually, for me, it was the Dreamsicles and the early clown combos. We were fortunate to make like the first Fire Clown, Firefly Clown.
Where year was that?
It would have been like 2000. I don't know. Actually, I'm not sure. Maybe 2012, 13, 14. I'm not sure how long it's been. But I just remember that zone was where I remember what building I was in when I was talking to him and what we were making at the time. We were making the first leopard clowns, and then he made the first spot nose clown. Ben did.
Wow.
Yeah. What a legacy, because that has been, one of the big bedrocks of the clowns, right? He made the first spot nose clown, and he posted it on Facebook. And I was so inspired by that snake. Like, I saw that snake and I thought, that's a game changer. Like, I had not tried or thought about spot nose clowns at all. That is a game changing animal. And I think most people, when they first saw it, they're like, oh, it's busy. Because right at the time, everybody was trying to go with these super blade clowns.
Right.
They're going like
Clean,
super,
yeah.
just a stripe down the back, and golden sides, I'm like, that is so different and so heavy patterned. That's like, just opens up another world. And at the time, I had just made leopard clowns. And so I went out that night, and I had a leopard spot nose. I went out that night that he showed that picture, and I put a clown with my leopard spot nose, adult female, that was about to ovulate. And we got leopard spot nose clowns from that, and then grew that up like crazy. I was so inspired by this snake. I was so inspired. We were like 12 months later, we had the first Batman on the ground right after the first clown was made. It's the first spot nose clown. So like, he's like the guy, the godfather of the Batman, because it never would have happened. I mean, not anytime soon if it wasn't for Ben Renick.
What's crazy? It's like, I mean, you probably won't get this analogy, and like, I mean, Bay Area rap music, right? Like, there was legends like Mac Dre. Mac Dre is my favorite rap artist.
Okay.
And he didn't get to fulfill everything he started, like his legacy. But E40 was able to take over that and start the hyphy movement. Hyphy movement is something that Mac Dre created. Either way, I look at you as like the E40 and
Gotcha.
Ben Renick's Mac Dre.
Yeah.
I think some people get it out there, but
It's the smarter people than me.
Okay. I mean, now let me ask you this: with going on to today's date, right? One of the biggest things, I mean, we talked about this earlier, but times are changing, man, especially after having this podcast. I can't tell you, like with Forrest, remember I told you asked me yesterday, MJ, why did you start this podcast? And I told you because Forrest gave me the courage, and he wanted to do a podcast. He just didn't want to set up the YouTube account. He didn't want to do all that shit, which is tedious. But I was so motivated to be a part of what Forrest wanted to be a part of. I was like, I'll do everything. I'll create the logo. Like, I'll do it. And he's like, all right, if you do it, I'm there. Okay. And it was all awesome. But guess what? The guy fucking hated ball python breeders. He's like, dude, they fucking are painting a picture that's not real. Nobody really makes good money off ball pythons. That was Forrest. Huge believer of that. And I was just like, And he's like, bring Miguel on. We'll you know what? I know we'll bring Miguel on. And if Miguel's down to show numbers, we'll do it. And then sure enough, Miguel, Big Dog's ready with PayPal transactions. He's like, he's ready to go.
That one.
No,
he
didn't.
Awesome.
No, we didn't do it. Like I told Forrest.
Oh, he didn't do it.
No, because Forrest didn't want. I was like, yo, Miguel's down to do it. He's down to show numbers. No, well, he can inflate those. Like those numbers could come from anything. Like he has gyms, blah blah blah. And I'm like, Forrest, you just don't want to hear the facts. But I told you what led to Trap Talk with MJ is because I wanted to bring ball python breeders on because I have all these fucking chondro, emerald tree snob homies who are like, ball pythons, you could do cooler stuff. What I'm getting at is all these people giving me shit 2017, 2018. They're now coming to me asking, hey, MJ, if I were to, I don't know, dabble into the ball python game, I don't know, how would I go about that? But basically, they want to know how the fuck to get into the ball python game.
It's funny.
And honestly, it is funny. It's fucking hilarious, Justin. It's really funny.
Yeah.
But what's funny is I don't know what to tell them. I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, what would you tell them?
I tell them that this has become very complicated. The ball pythons become very complicated.
It's not you, it's me.
I don't know that I could get in.
Thank you for watching this week's Trap Talk clip. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, drop me a comment. And if you're looking for exclusive, non-release content here on YouTube, you're going to want to go down to the link and join the Trap Talk Patreon family. Once you become a part of the Patreon family, you get a link to the Discord, and then you also get tapped into all unreleased content. Thank you so much for all the love and support, and I'll catch you guys here next week. Cheers!